Hey guys! As you may have guessed from the title, today it's not just the two of us. There's a special guest on the podcast. Please say hello to SWEETHEARTIST. Thank you for coming on.
Of course, my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Maybe for the people who do not know you already, could you briefly introduce yourself? Say a few things about you.
Yes, so I am a illustrator and animator, and the sole reason why I'm here today is because I kind of blew up in the Berserk space. I made an animation series starting back in 2023, which was specifically the Black Swordsman arc, and it was very, very well received by the community, by fans, by even newcomers who weren't really familiar with Berserk. So it led all the way to being here today with you guys, the ZoddCast.
Yeah, all right.
Almost like a job interview today now.
Yeah, we will get into it. Maybe if I may, I will ask the obvious question. Is there a story behind your name? I do get the pun, but is there maybe some deeper reason as to why you chose to call yourself SWEETHEARTIST? If you want to disclose.
Of course, but I don't think it's a really fascinating story. But it's basically, obviously, two words combined, sweetheart and artist. I initially started this back in late 2022 with honestly no really clear intention in mind. I was initially heading towards more of a family-friendly type of vibe, And as time went by, I just was like, you know what? Let me elevate this a little bit. Just starting working on things I grew up with, enjoyed watching, playing, whatever, So with time, as time went by, it started getting more mature content, and I never thought about changing the name, so I just let it be like that. So that's all.
Okay.
I do like the aspect of being family friendly, but then animating Berserk. Yeah, that's very fitting.
It's very fitting, especially as the recent animation I make on Instagram. That's people. I think newcomers to Berserk, when they first encounter my animations on Instagram, they think maybe like, oh wow, it seems like a very nice and sweet series.
Oh no, you're setting them up.
I'm setting it up, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, but that's actually what I like about we call it this short video content, because it gives us fans who are in that constant pain of handling how bad everything in Berserk is, this parallel universe of Guts and Casca just having a wholesome day-to-day life. The stage that they probably could enjoy for a couple of chapters in the actual story. So I really love your content. It's just wholesome to look at. I've even seen many comments saying you're healing them with your wholesome content.
I was very surprised by the reception of the positive reception from the viewers, and I totally agree. When we look at the manga, for example, especially in its current state, I'm not only talking about story-wise, but also waiting each time until a next chapter comes out. It's and with the cliffhangers as well, it's like salt to the wound each time. When we finally see some positivity. So with my approach, obviously, it's trying to create some sort of balance to the story in some way.
And also this aspect of waiting in general, not only for the next manga chapter, but also for an possible anime adaptation that might or might never come. So people like you are at least giving something to the community that helps us get over the pain of waiting for something that will maybe never come.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm here for you guys.
Thank you. Not only filling the gaps of waiting for the next chapter, but also the cracks in our heart.
Yes,
exactly.
2016 left.
I do have to say, looking back at the 2016 adaptation from an animator's perspective, obviously visually, we can agree that it's definitely not the best thing we have seen, but it still has some type of charm to it. Like, for example, the voice acting was amazing in my opinion. The soundtrack was great. But yeah, we at least got something. At the very least, it wasn't definitely not the best, but I'm still surprised why they never got into making a proper adaptation. I'm really surprised.
I think that that argument of at least we got something is also a double-edged sword, because on the one hand we got something, but on the other hand, thinking about why don't they just like why did they not take a different approach to this whole project? Why did they choose that approach? But yeah, it's still right. I would definitely agree that it is an experience on itself. It's very unique, so to say, but it's an experience.
I gotta say something funny, because I understand where you're coming from, with the argument. It's like a double-edged sword, obviously, because if something is bad, we shouldn't have gotten at all, you know what I mean? But it was actually like the 2016 series was actually the reason I got into Berserk in the very first place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so to give a little bit of a backstory to that, like when it first got announced, I saw the poster. I'm not sure which website I saw it, but I saw the poster with gods with sword, like it was a moonlight. It looked very intimidating and different than we're used to seeing with the general anime. Animes like bright colors, spiky hairs. You know what I mean? So it had more of a mature theme, and I was like, oh, interesting. And I did some research in regards to that, and it still had to be released, So I just saw like the poster and I think the teaser trailer. So through watching that, I got into the 97 anime. So I was like, oh, there's already an anime, but they're doing some sort of remake or sequel or whatever. So through the announcement of the 2016, I got into 97 anime of Berserk, actually. And from there on out, I got into the manga, obviously. So there's that.
Corny,
okay, that's an interesting approach.
Yeah, you did not want to believe me, Corny, when we watched Berserk 2016, that this is also a possible route to get into Berserk, right?
You told me that some
cool.
people actually got into Berserk through this adaptation. I was really surprised. But
why not?
Yeah,
but it's crazy.
That's
Does
proof.
that mean before like you started drawing or animating Berserk related content just a couple of years ago, like 2016, or maybe a bit before that?
Me myself, you mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I'm the type of person, if I got into something, I make some type of quick sketches, whatever, But when it comes to like the animation you've seen so far, so like the Black Swordsman arc I've worked on, that was like 2023. Started working on that in 2023.
Okay. The first episode came out somewhere there. Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
The first episode I started working on, I think, April 2023, and I did everything by myself and released it in September 2023. So I did like roughly 6 months on the first episode.
Okay, that is crazy. Like,
yeah, no, I'm kind of a crazy guy.
Like, how did your weeks look like? Like, are you doing this as a hobby? Like, I was wondering, you must be drawing all day, looking on how much content you're putting out. That's amazing. Like, I'm not an artist.
Let's say I had very spare little time. Yeah, so I did these usually like late nights, So before going to sleep, I worked on like an hour or two. And I tried to do it daily. Sometimes I had no motivation whatsoever, so I skipped a day or two. But then afterwards, I kept on it, and it blew up in a very interesting way. Like, I honestly didn't see it coming. I first made like a review trailer. I didn't even know which direction I wanted to take. I was like, maybe I'm gonna adapt a random scene or sequence, not even necessarily a whole arc or a certain episode. And then I was like, when it blew up, the first teaser trailer, I think the first week it got 50k views, and after just a few months it was like 200k or whatever. And I was like, okay, this is very serious. Let me
continue.
Give a different approach, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? let me do something that I hasn't really done before, and I was like, let me adapt just the Black Swordsman arc, start from the very beginning, but also try to keep it as authentic as possible. So not just what we've seen before in the previous adaptations, but just introduce more things. So, for example, Puck, we never seen him in the Black Swordsman arc before,
Yeah.
things like that. And I think during that time, I was the only one who adapted the Black Swordsman arc, which also was, I think, the reason why it blew up. Studio Taka did adapt it, but they did like motion graphic, of it, which also was very, very beautiful. But like a real anime, I think I was one of the few, or maybe even the only one who started the Black Swordsman arc, adapting it for real.
So, like now, I think there are so many projects about Black Swordsman arc. Like you definitely heard about the dilemma and the problem with Studio Eclipse that they tried to, but something happened with them. But at least we got an episode from Arch Studio. So what do you think about that? Talking about Black Swordsman arc adaptations.
Oof, Studio Arch, or I think now they called Arch Animations, right? I think they changed their name as of recent. That's what I think. I think I've seen they're called now Arch Animations. I love their animation. Their adaptation is amazing, And also shout out for them for linking us up. They were like, "Hey, you wanna hop on an interview?" Initially, I was like, "I'm gonna do the interview with you guys and them," but then I found out they already did like an interview with you guys.
Yes.
So I'm now like cornered by you guys. I'm now cornered, but their animations. It's amazing. It's like when I look at it, it feels very like the 97 one.
Yeah.
They really try to replicate it as much as possible while also giving their own unique flavor. And I'm really excited for the upcoming episode on what they're going to put out,
Yeah, I really like that about the Berserk community, that there are so many different projects and none of them feel the same. And it's also
everyone got their own style.
Yeah,
yes.
It's something I love about your approach, that it just does not, follow the original episodes and adds new scenes. There were really some moments I completely got goosebumps. I think it was the second episode of your Black Swordsman adaptation, when Puck asked Guts where the brand is from. And he just thought back and saw the white Brodo hawk in the sky. And then we saw him like kneeling in that sea of blood, holding Casca in his hands and with the music in the background, and everything looked awesome. I just got goosebumps, and it's crazy to me how an artist can like create that much emotional impact with an IP that they did not invent, but they transported it so well that while looking at it, for me, there's no doubt that this is Guts and it's his struggle, and everything we know about him belongs to that person I'm seeing on the screen, although that scene might be, made up or from the fan adaptation, like this authenticity. That's something I, at least for my opinion, that your project does not have a problem at all. This authenticity, it hits really hard.
I totally get what you're saying, man. And also the thing is, when I, put in that specific scene, I wanted to capture the raw, horror, with the lighting, the emotion through the eyes, with Guts,
well.
and also to keep into consideration, like I made this like in a very, time restraint, no budget whatsoever. So this is like the best you can get with zero budget, with limited time, limited resources. So imagine if, for example, artists like myself, Arch Animations, other animations as well. Like, for example, there's also one called Eldrix, I believe, which also is a great animator. I've seen even an adaptation of the Black Swordsman arc. I think it's like from Brazil or Spain or whatever. It's like a Samurai Jack type of art style, which also looked insane. And just imagine putting all of us together in one room, give us a proper budget. And I don't doubt we will deliver one of the best experiences ever.
We also talked about that, Lawrence and I think I think privately or in one of the podcasts, like how insane it would be if all those incredible artists and studios
Came
just came
together,
together, sat together, and tried to really, really unite to make a whole Berserk adaptation. How insane would that be?
Have you ever
Oh,
thought like about collaborating with another artist or like doing something together? Or maybe you've done already and I just don't know.
Yeah, so for me it's like tricky. I would love to one end, on the other end, like it's responsibility, like for example with scheduling and whatever, and it's like a promise you're giving. And I'm a type of person, I don't easily give on promises, like I will hop on and then suddenly I will hop off, or the other way around. They promise me something and then they don't live up to the expectations. So it's a very tricky thing. As of now, I do have like a collab with Arch Animations, trying to help each other out with promoting stuff, and maybe even when it's sufficient to help out with animations. We haven't done that yet, but at least like we on each other's pages, like for example, I've talked to them behind the scenes, and each of them very lovely, passionate artist,
Yeah.
So if I had to work with someone as of now, I would definitely choose Arch Animations. And if some other, Berserk project team would come along the way, where there's like a similar vibe, similar agreement, obviously I would be open to it, But as I said, it's kind of like tricky because it's a responsibility. If you hop on the train, you can't like jump off the moving train, you know what I mean? It will like crash. So, yeah.
Understandable. Like especially I do also think maybe from an artist perspective, if you and Arch probably, like I would assume, to have different views on how to adapt and which style to choose, so also to bring that together would probably maybe in my world also be a difficulty.
Honestly, I'm kind of a control freak, So I want, if I've got to be honest, I want everything going
Want to do it all.
my way. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, even though I wanted having everything go my way, it doesn't mean I know it all, So you gotta be open to feedback, to criticism, whatever. So there's a lot of aspects that go into consideration, but maybe one day, who knows? I'm just the type of person, I don't want to give out false promises, especially let's say you do like a collab, you make a nice announcement, a teaser trailer, whatever, and all the fans get excited, and then halfway through you have to unfortunately like make a cancellation post because I fell off or another one fell off or whatever, So yeah, sometimes prevention is better than cure.
True.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, especially if you look on Studio Eclipse, but that's another topic.
We will see how that will work out. I was wondering, did this event somehow make you more like cautious? Did you think about, okay, maybe some of my things could be, going under the radar of some official studio, or are you like making sure that everything's fan product and you're not like, I don't know, mistreating the IP or something like that?
Yeah, obviously, since that announcement, I wasn't even aware of it. I just got send the post to me, because honestly, I'm not too much into the. I don't know it all, so I don't keep track because I'm a very busy person. I get distracted. I work on things, whatever, Also, besides this, so when I got the message that basically the officials from Berserk, not cancelled, but like put a hold on the project. It was put on hold. I for sure did get cautious, like, oh, who knows, maybe it could happen to me as well. But on the other hand, I think, and people told me that's not the right way of thinking, but maybe I'm kind of underestimating. Maybe I still see myself as that artist who just started a channel, didn't really had that many views, whatever, but people told me, no, your episode has 500,000 right now, you're not some small time animator anymore. You're one of the giants at the moment, so you gotta be how do you say, conscious about that fact. So definitely I'm aware that you never know. Maybe they could like send me an email as well, or like a Twitter post or whatever. But I try to put out as much as possible. It's a fan project. I don't want any money for it. It's like really a dedicated fan project. I don't even want anything from it. It's just me putting out an animation similar to, for example, another fan artist on Twitter who posts an illustration.
No.
The thing is with animations, I see people are more critical compared to just the illustration. I've noticed, for example, when someone posts a fan art of a drawing, it doesn't get much criticism compared to the animation. The animation, really, people see it as, oh, you used the characters from Berserk, or this isn't the proper adaptation, or whatever. Like, it's very different, I've noticed, in terms of opinions. But when you go back to what you said about the officials, I'm definitely like trying to be as cautious as possible,
No.
That's totally understandable. Like, I don't think Lawrence and I will face any problems soon. I hope so. Well,
No.
but you never know. You never know.
Let's just say, if you would face any problems, I think you would be in a very great position when the time comes. Like, I don't think they would necessarily focus on like more of the smaller channels, but if you guys like keep going, I wouldn't be surprised you guys blowing up as well. And then you gotta be a little bit cautious. But obviously, what you guys doing, I don't think they would do anything, to be honest.
They wouldn't move a finger, probably.
They don't dare.
I think it's just a unlucky coincidence with. I mean, I don't know about the true facts behind it, but with Eclipse, I just thought maybe it got so big and many people thought it was original, so maybe that's why they thought, okay, we have to at least say something. I mean, they did not prohibit it, so I think, I guess for the majority of fan artists I know or I've seen online, my feeling is that they will be fine because it's obvious they're doing their own thing. They have another, like a different style you can easily distinguish from maybe how a quote-unquote official adaptation would look like, maybe something like that. I don't know, but we will see. Future will tell.
Yeah, like for example, there are even like, I think, previous animators who also like made Berserk animations, although not fully fleshed episodes, maybe 5 minutes or so, that also have like millions of views, but they're still on the net. They never had any problems. But as you said yourself, I think maybe it has also to do with the way you promote it. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I think, Lawrence, what do you think? We still have some questions to ask. Do you want to start? Like, we have a catalog. we don't necessarily have to go through that, and I don't think we will even get through the whole question, because there are so many.
Maybe we can at least include all the the community questions, because we promised to.
we promised to.
I mean,
oh shit.
Indirectly.
Shit.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, do you want to start with something, or?
No, you may.
I may. Okay. I was wondering, because that was also a fan question that got posted. If you want to disclose, of course, you don't have to say anything to that. Are you planning on continuing your Black Swordsman project?
I get that question a lot. I think on a daily basis, to be honest.
Okay.
So, in short, yes, I would love to. I definitely will go through a different approach, similar to the recent re-release of the first episode. So there will definitely be an English version of the episode 2 first, before I will even think about a third episode. But the thing is, with the new approach, I try to like polish it. So when I will re-release the English version of the second episode, it wouldn't just be like a dubbed version. It will also like visually be better. It will be more smoother, more frames, even more scenes. So I will first focus on that, and after that, I would love to make a third episode and go into the Count, because obviously we never ever have seen an adaptation of that. but I'm not sure if I would do it alone anymore. I think I would need a team by that time.
Okay, talking about this immense workload, I was wondering, you said you started like in 2023 April, right, with the first episode and like worked several months on that. Does it mean you
Exactly.
also did all the, like, I mean, I'm not an artist, maybe I'm using the wrong words here, but all the After Effects, everything, the background, stuff like that, did you also do all that?
Everything. The only things I didn't do was the soundtrack and the voice acting, obviously, because those were original. But like the editing, the post editing, the visual effects, whatever. Like it all started with a blank canvas, and the way you've seen it, that's how it ended. And I did everything.
Okay, that is crazy. And did you,
like I said, I'm a crazy guy.
yeah, did you start getting into also all these After Effects through Berserk, or were there like previous projects that maybe we don't know about where you already kind of got
Yeah,
into
so
that stuff?
so previously I did professionally illustration before even starting the whole YouTube thing. So I was a
Okay.
professional illustrator. I worked on
That
various
explains a
projects.
lot.
Yeah, and after that, I did like a combination of illustration, graphic design, and then I got more into the motion side of things, so video editing, stuff like that. So when I came and started my YouTube channel, I already had like my tools. Although when it came specifically to animation, I knew the basics, but I still had to learn more, you know. So along this journey, I learned as well, you know. So yeah, when it comes to animation, I definitely learned along the process.
Okay, cool. About the animation and the After Effects, because I rewatched both of your episodes yesterday, and there was some note at the end. First of all, I was surprised that there basically were next to no credits. You know, the voice actors were listed, but then it's like the solo project just done by you. But there was also in the first episode this Terama studio, and I was wondering if you could maybe tell us who that is and if you're still like working with them, or is it also just you?
Yeah, so Terramore Studio, that was like a studio I came across online. I interacted with. They did audio design because
Okay.
with the first re-release, I wanted to elevate as many aspects as possible. And as you can see, compared to, for example, original first episode and when you see the recent the first episode actually got the proper credits because I actually had the real people involved, you know, like for the sound, for the voices, whatever. So Thermo Studio in specific, they were responsible for not all of the sound effects, but a lot of them for
Okay.
the recent episode. So not with the Japanese voices, but with the English voices.
Okay. Are you like planning on both doing Japanese versions and English versions for the future? Did you like start off just doing the Japanese and then maybe a lot of people asked for English versions and you decided to go that way, or was it like
That is exactly how it went. So I started with the Japanese, and then I got a lot of comments. I won't watch this until there's an English version.
Oh, okay.
And then, and then I was like, okay, then don't watch it, you know. But but the thing is, as time went by, I was like, maybe I should try this English version, see how it goes. And honestly, it's even better received than the Japanese version. So from now on, I don't even think I would do a Japanese version anymore. Maybe for like random scenes, if I am in the mood to adapt some type of, you know, spin-off or whatever. But if I'm talking specifically the Black Swordsman adaptation, I would do it English only from now on.
Do you?
But still, I think it's kind of weird, you know, to say, yeah, if it's Japanese, then I don't watch it, because there's this insanely good Lost Children animation from All in All, and I really love that. And it's like still one of the only Lost Children animations to today, and it's only Japanese, but that would never stop me from watching it because it's just so good. And same goes for your project, like only because it's not in English, like why don't I watch it?
People are maybe too bored to read subtitles. I don't know, but yeah, you know what the thing is, like if I want the people to watch my stuff to really want it, you know. So if some person isn't that really interested, I wouldn't mind if he skips out on it, you know. So I want only the people that really appreciate the work that goes into it. For example, obviously myself, I get mixed comments. The majority are good. There are also some comments that people are saying like, I don't like it at all, whatever, you know. But I think when it comes to people who leave positive comments, they understand the vision, they are aware of the limited resources and whatnot, you know. So I want them to watch my stuff. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So like trying to get the most out of your work. You put so much effort in.
Are you
exactly
like getting majoritively English speaking people? I was wondering if you're like seeing maybe Japanese guys also in your comments.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of Japanese comments as well, especially on Twitter. I've noticed a lot of Japanese people retweeting my stuff. So hopefully it doesn't end up with by the officials of Berserk. But jokes aside, majority of my fans are actually English speaking people. So yeah, it makes sense kind of that they want also like an English version. And let's not forget the fact that the English voices are amazing as well. I've used Guts Spiegel from Arch Animations, who also voices Guts from the Arch Animations, and I really thought he did an amazing job. So he will definitely stay on board on the next one.
Nice. He's such a cool guy. Like the whole group of Arch.
The whole crew, definitely. Really,
I
really like.
I always thought, I don't know if that like differs because we are from Germany, but those, I don't know if you consider yourself a hardcore anime or Berserk fan or diehard fan, but we're like this, okay, if I watch an anime, I will watch it in the original language, you know, and I was wondering if that is maybe, I mean, I've never asked from where you are and you don't have to disclose, but I was wondering if maybe then again, if you change to English, like Japanese people won't watch it, or if it's like the best of two worlds to do it in English and most people understand English. The English guys you mentioned, you're having in your comments won't complain, and then maybe also the Japanese fans will watch it in English, or
the thing is like I don't even think this counts for the work I do, but generally in life, like you can't please everyone, you know.
True.
So and I only got limited resource, so what I would choose to do from now on, I think I would do English voices just because the first one got really well received. So depending on the second one, if that one also will get really appreciated, I would stick to English. But when it comes to me myself, the way I view anime or how I watch anime, honestly, I haven't watched anime in a long time because it's too busy, very busy. I think the last anime I watched was like, I think months ago. Okay. It was Demon Slayer.
Yeah, the classic one.
Yeah, I finished the latest episode, which was, oh man, I hated the cliffhanger.
Yeah, me as well. I'm very hyped for the last arc, which they will know, and that they just put out 3 movies probably in the cinemas. It will be awesome. It will be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. But the way I watch anime, it's usually always Japanese. I never watch anime in English. I think the only anime I watch in English was Dragon Ball Z, but that's it. Everything I watch in Japanese.
Okay. I think that goes for me as well. Like Lawrence told me that he.
Please don't.
Okay, I won't do. But
notice
I also started like watching anime in like and understandably in German because I'm from Germany, but then I realized that the Japanese dub is in 11 out of 10 cases the better choice, so I just switched to it, and I never regretted to do that because it's like in most of the cases it's just so much better than dub.
Yeah, definitely. Like the I don't know, the emotion that gets out of the Japanese one, like especially with the raging moments, the emotional moments. I don't know, it's like up tier, you know, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah, watching it with the, for example, German dub, it feels like watching some, I don't know, sometimes some kids show or some cartoon. I don't know if that is like a weird representation, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say, Corny, how do you know it's good if you don't understand Japanese? But it's like bad joke. Sorry. Yeah, the emotion just feels more natural. No.
Definitely. Like, and I also think sometimes even if the dialogue of a show might be not the strongest aspect, like might be weak, I think it sounds in Japanese, like if you just listen to it with subtitles, it's still more acceptable than watching it dubbed, because then you realize maybe sometimes how actually the dialogue is not the strongest aspect, but that does not go for every show. So it's just an exception.
I mean, I started watching Berserk 1997 with the English dub, and I think it was. I mean, it probably has to do with nostalgia also, but I thought it was great. But then
was that your first introduction to Berserk by any chance, or?
My very first introduction was actually the manga, but then I read up until the Eclipse and like paused for probably a few months because I was like really shocked. I was like, no, this is not how this is supposed to go. And then I realized there's an anime, and I watched it in English. I never even at that point thought about watching it in Japanese because I wasn't like too much into anime and all that stuff. And then I think I have not even rewatched it completely in Japanese right now. It's a bit of a shame, but like I know the Japanese voices, I know the English voices, and I think they're both great. But yeah, I started with the manga. There was some German YouTuber who ranked their top 10 manga, and the first one was Berserk, but he did not even mention the cruelty of it, and I just thought, yeah, why not? I was like maybe 17, I don't know, and started with it, and like even in the first volume, or like within the first 3 volumes, there was this count scene where he was eating someone in front of their father. I was like, what am I looking at? But it kind of still, the story got me, and I kept on reading. I didn't even know, you could read it online at that point. I just bought all the books. And then I saw the Eclipse, and that changed me. Yeah.
Yeah, unlike anything we've seen before, let's be honest.
Unlike anything, yeah.
But talking about changing, there was this one question that really right now fits into the discussion.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to ask you that, like, how did Berserk or reading Berserk or watching Berserk influence your life, or maybe shaped your perspective about certain things, shaped your situations, and maybe also how you think about certain stuff?
That's a very, very interesting question. Very interesting. I could definitely answer it in a two-way stream. Like, for example, the way it shaped perhaps life and what stuck to me. Like, for example, artistically, it's some of the most beautiful art I ever seen, Like, for example, if you see Miura's, the way he draws his line, like, the precision is insane, Like, he makes all these, like, little scratches and lines, and to me as an artist, when I study it and observe it, it's so calculated. Like every single line is placed with a purpose, So it's not like loosely placed. Like, for example, if you compare it to Studio Gaga, which also do an amazing job. If you look closely, some of the lines are like loosely laid down, But when it comes to Miura, like, even if you have like an insanely detailed piece and you zoom in, you still see everything clear. It's not like a whole, how do I say it? Like a piece of ink. It's like very easy. He sculpts with his pen.
Yeah.
He used to sculpt, like it's amazing. So definitely as an artist, it made me appreciate quality over quantity. So when I work on something, I prefer to focus more on the quality side of things, because that's more of a long-term thing, it will be appreciated more long-term. When it comes to life, like Guts as a character, I think one of the biggest, most important moments in the story was, to me at least, when he left Griffith, the Band of the Hawk, like he's going his own way, And I think that's important in life. Like, you have to find your own way. Like, sometimes we care too much about following people, listening to others' opinion and whatever, but at the end of the day, you're accountable for your own actions. You know what I mean? And we also kind of like go back to what we talked about earlier. You can't please anyone. So the first person you should please in the beginning is yourself. So going your own way, I think that one stuck to me the very most. It was a very big one.
Awesome. Yeah, one thing about the Miura's art not looking like randomly placed. We had once this like fact in our podcast that he got inspired by some Dutch woodcut artist. MC Escher is his name, and it's really crazy. For me, once I knew this fact, I've always seen his art as like some woodcut because it's so precise, and compared it to MC Escher's works. I don't know if you know this famous painting of him where
I know.
those,
I know
yeah.
The stairs, right? With
the stairs, exactly. Was what I wanted to say. Yeah. And if you really like zoom in, you can see all those fine lines, the good old cross hatching, that Miura is known for, and I really love that about his art too. Yeah, that it's so precise, and I do also think Studio Gaga is doing an amazing job, and also comparing it like the like 10 chapters they put out so far from the beginning to the end, they made such a big progress. But of course, Miura like did this for decades. Of course, it's hard to replicate his art, but no complaints about Studio Gaga.
Yeah, honestly, his art is like a fingerprint. You can try to replicate it as much as possible, but in the end, it's his own thing, and it's good. You shouldn't be like copy it exactly the same, to be honest,
No.
And it isn't even possible, in my opinion.
True.
What do you think in general about the news chapters? Maybe coming also to that, like about the art, about how the story, like we did not get much story wise, and it felt also a bit quick and rushed. But maybe what do you think about the news chapters in general, art wise and story wise?
Yeah, honestly, story wise, I think we've seen something, but in my opinion, not too much yet to give a definite opinion about it. I do like the way it's added. For example, with Rickard coming with his crew, trying to, I think, rescue Guts from what it seems. Art style wise, I think it looks very good. And as you mentioned as well, with each chapter, you can notice that they get more comfortable, more used to the art style, So yeah, I think it takes some time to give a proper opinion about it. And I also think they deserve some space to get comfortable in their zone as well. For them, it's like a huge, big burden on their shoulder because a lot of expectations, very high expectations as well, So far, I only see good things. So I expect only good things to come.
Awesome. Yeah, Corny, what do you want to give your opinion to that, or?
In the first chapters, I was still a bit skeptical, but that was only natural, I think, because like trying to continue such a masterpiece, especially the art, is no easy task. So I was skeptical at first, but it was understandable that they did not initially, like from the start, were on the Miura level, and I don't think they will ever be, but at least they are converging or conversing to that point. So I think art wise, it really is on a great way, but for how many chapters did they now put out? Like
I think
10?
64 was the last by Miura, right?
So around 10
like
chapters,
14,
and I think in 10 chapters, Miura would have given us much more story. I think for 10 chapters they haven't given us enough for a story. Yeah, as you said before, to really get a definite facet or conclusion out of it. But they could have maybe given us some more aspects of the story.
We never know. We don't know how the script looks like. That's also something. I too think like I want to see more, and maybe it's all developing very, very quickly. But on the other hand, maybe that's exactly what the script tells them to do. So I would just gladly appreciate everything we will get. Of course, we can criticize, but I don't think we will ever be in that state to say, yeah, Miura would have done it this or that way, or even to determine which aspect is like added or original. We just don't know. But I think Mori will, as he said, stick as closely to what he has been, given by Miura as possible. So I'm just happy that it is being continued. And I know there are fans, like some hardcore fans, who say, or I don't know if hardcore, maybe I'm also a hardcore fan, who say, okay, Berserk is like finished. I won't read the new chapters, but I'm just too eager to find out what happens to Guts and the other characters, so I will go with it.
All right. Do you think that that I might criticize it too harshly? Because I think I do not discredit the fact that they are trying their hardest. But especially like I do remember the talk we had when they were on the boat and getting away from Elf Island, and we had like 3 chapters where the Kushins tried to get on the boat, and like every chapter was like a reset and nothing really happened. But like I said, it's kind of understandable because they had to get used to the art style, and maybe we like, hopefully it's the prayer we send to heaven every night. Maybe they will put out chapters in a more frequent way and not just once or twice every year.
But look at the development up until the latest and the the one before. If that's what they did all the time between those chapters, like practicing, and it really looks like that, because the most recent 2 chapters for me do look amazing, then they can just keep on taking their time. In general they can do whatever they want, but I'm very happy, and I don't even I don't expect them to like try to reach Miura's level. I see it as what it is. They are continuing what he has given to the world, and I'm just happy the way that they're doing it right now.
I think what Scorn was trying to say is not necessarily just the artistic aspect, but more story-wise, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I honestly hope they will give us more story as well, because, I think as you said, like 10 chapters are out, and a lot of that was Guts not having done anything. So
yeah, we hope that he will get up.
Definitely. Let's hope so. And getting up like with a proper fashion as well. Like, I'm done with seeing weak Guts. We've seen him weak for a long time now. Like ever since he unfortunately got to see Griffith again, taking away Casca. Since then, we haven't seen the real Guts anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, like this is the whole structure we've seen so far. Guts getting stronger, developing something, then it all gets taken away, then he gets even stronger, then again everything gets taken away. So I would say he's at a new low, but I assume he will even grow stronger from that point on, or the Beast of Darkness will just devour him. Either this or that, so I don't know.
I think there's also the aspect of him getting older and weaker because of the armor, so he himself can't become stronger in that classical sense anymore. His body, like his skills are still for a human unmatched, I think, but he has to rely on the Berserker armor, as we saw in some of the chapters where he sat down and he actually put it in his own words and said he still had to wear it to fight. Yeah. But talking about the ending, do we want to get into the discussion? And I will just say, Sweetheartist, what do you think? What is your theory about how the story will continue? And maybe not also what do you think will happen, but also what you wish would happen.
Well, if if I could decide how it would end, I would definitely want a sweet ending, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But realistically, what I think would happen would be a bittersweet ending. So maybe something more in the line of type of sacrifice for the whole crew, something like that. Maybe Guts would be turning into a new Skull Knight for the sake of saving everyone, maybe. Uh, yeah, I think something like that. I was thinking about it recently. Perhaps roles will be reversed. Maybe like Casca will be the new main character, will end like that. Maybe something like that, you know. And Guts would be turning into the weaker one for some type of reason. I don't know, but I don't think we'll be getting a definitive happy ending. Unfortunately, that's what I think. But also not a bad ending. I think something in between.
Yeah, we probably won't get this wholesome experience of Guts and Casca that you are presenting on
No,
Instagram.
that's my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, true. I've also heard many people thinking about maybe Casca delivering like somewhat of a final blow to Griffith.
Mhm.
And I think that would be very, very cool. And also, I don't know how she would do it. Maybe like he gets weakened, or maybe he does not even get killed, but like somehow weakened in his power. There's still this theory that, we know this chapter that has been taken out by Miura that basically says that bad emotions are what creates the evil, this evil god, and also in extent the god hand. So maybe there can be a change of these things if good emotions can, the idea of good can create something in
hopefully Schnauz
opposition.
will step up and
maybe
solve
Schnauz.
everything and kill the god hand solely on his own.
Also a question I wrote down. What do you think about the possibility of Schnauz defeating the god hand? But maybe that's...
I think that would be the best ending possible, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe even like have Puck joining him as well.
This squad.
That would be a great tag team. Yes, definitely.
I mean, you just put out an artwork, of Puck being in that mech. Maybe this will be able to.
Cyber Gods.
Yeah. I mean, we saw in the most recent chapter Clipoth, like being, how's it called? Manifested. I don't know. And Schnauz, if I'm not mistaken, is part of Clipoth. So maybe he will be like running in the background. We can see him for at least one panel. I would be very happy about this.
If Studio Gaga at least pays some attention to the community, then they maybe at least give us a cameo of Schnauz. It would be wholesome, I think. Not even talking about the fact that he might be important for the story, because he probably will be not, but just presenting in one last time before the story ends. That will fill my heart with joy.
Do you guys think that Griffith will be like killed, or like in some way or another in the end?
To be honest, like I think I speak on behalf of many that when we first saw the eclipse, the first thing we wanted was revenge, obviously. But as time went by, I don't have that feeling of revenge anymore, to be honest. Like, I don't even want the story solely be based on Guts finishing off the God Hand, for example. Like, I think the story should be going in a different direction. For example, Guts finding his inner peace, preferably, obviously, with Casca and the rest of his crew. So, if Griffith or Femto would be killed, I think every God Hand has a weakness. That's what I think. It's just a matter of finding out what that weakness is, and maybe Skull Knight will find out. Maybe another yet to be introduced character will be knowing all the secrets behind the God Hand. But I think he will be killed. I don't know if it's gonna be, satisfactory.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I mean, the bittersweet part that also Miura himself talked about for the ending could be that Griffith and the Moonlight Boy are merged, and if you wanted him to be dead, then also the Moonlight Boy, their son, would be dead. So maybe either this or, I don't know, somehow being able to live with the fact that Griffith, exists. I also would prefer, and I think the story is or has been going into that direction. Guts healing and getting new companions, and this very new Low that we've seen so far is like a step back, and it almost looks as if he's going into that rage. It very much looks as if he's going into that wrong direction again, the Beast of Darkness.
That's also has like the Behelit, right?
Yes, and that's also the one key factor of how the Behelit will be used in advantage or disadvantage of Guts, because it's always this back and forth, and maybe there will be situations created in the story where maybe Guts still chooses to do that, but talking in general about this character, as we know him, he probably would not sacrifice any of his friends, but maybe he will be backed in a corner story-wise that he has no other choice but to use that. And then the whole stuff, the whole dilemma will be even more interesting. And what's also very concerning, but what I would like a scene where maybe it does not have to get fully confirmed, but maybe some hints to the conclusion of the feud between Skull Knight and Void, and maybe how they are connected together, because they're all always those theories, and we know, or we not know, but we almost 99% for sure know that they are linked together. Yeah, King Geyserik and Void, but maybe that they will also have a last confrontation. How cool would that be? I'm just hoping that they will connect the dots as good as they can with what Miura left them, and hopefully, it still does not have to be a happy ending, but at least the open ends, the lines, the dots should be connected in a somewhat satisfying way, even it might not be a happy ending.
Yeah, I think the fight between Void and Skull Knight will give those vibes similar to Scar and Wrath from Full Metal Alchemist. Like the big bad boys going head to head at each other, So it will be crazy to see. But we also have seen Skull Knight is very aware of the skills of Void, the way he teleported with the sword. That was sick. That was insane.
Yeah, it was definitely that was a great advantage of the Golden Age trilogy, that they included Skull Knight and therefore also included him in the Eclipse there, because that was the one factor I think that made 97 not weak, but the ending a bit more confusing, because you cannot continue this because there is not a saver factor for Guts and Casca without Skull Knight. And his entrance was just so insane. I loved that.
Definitely. I think honestly, I think it was Studio 4C. They should have just continued the Black Swordsman arc. To be honest, there, especially during the end of the third movie, you could see they got familiar with the 3D aspects. And I think they would have done a very great job.
I also had to get a bit used to it, but in the end, it's they also created art and great panels and great pictures on the screen, and especially the last movie, or the Memorial Edition. I watched all the 12 episodes or 13 episodes. That it was great, especially with some new added scenes to make it a bit more fluent and even better than the trilogy. I'm also on your side there that maybe they should have given more budget, and then they should just make Lost Children and the Conviction arc. That would be so insane.
That would be amazing, definitely. Who knows? Maybe the Memorial Edition was maybe a hint towards something. You never know.
Yeah, that
because let's be honest, the movies were, I think, released back in 2010 or something, and then suddenly a Memorial Edition a year or two ago. So maybe they're stacking up some budget. Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah, and maybe also that's the reason why Studio Gaga told Eclipse to,
that's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
take a step back and you know leave the real adaptation to the real ones.
Oh, okay.
If that's the case, then the officials got to hurry up and show something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise,
That's true.
people like me will continue this, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Let's just hope someday there will be something, but who knows?
I like how our optimistic Berserk fanbar hearts just see a sign for a possible upcoming Berserk adaptation in everything. You know, they called them out, so maybe there's a new adaptation coming. But yeah,
Optimistic or delusional?
yeah, probably both. But
Yeah,
I mean,
we're Berserk fans. We have to be delusional.
I mean, I'm very happy I've not been into the Berserk fandom at that point in time where Guts was on the boat, because you know, like didn't they like, or wasn't he like 10 actual years on that?
9 or 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy I wasn't a fan back then. So the Berserk fans are very patient, I would say. So I'm happy as long as even if there will be an official adaptation, it will be in my lifetime. I will take it. But
Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. Until then, there will be some awesome fan projects. Also, I think there's some Lost Children arc fan project coming up. I saw on Instagram from Berserk Art. I don't know if you know about this guy. I'm really looking forward to it. So, Corny, your beloved Lost Children arc will also be adapted in one way or another.
Yeah,
I look forward to that.
I love that arc so much, and I that's also the reason why I love the adaptation from All in All, because it's like, yeah, Lost Children arc and the only Lost Children arc we got so far. My question to you, sweetheartist,
perfect transition.
Do you think you might or might not someday take an approach for the Lost Children arc?
Not pressuring.
I feel the pressure. To be honest, after the second episode, I wanted to start with the Lost Children arc, but then again, I was like, that's another level, you know. When you approach something like the Lost Children arc, it's you gotta go all out. So if I would have a team by that time, I would definitely be open to it. But as of right now, I would focus on the Black Swordsman arc. I want to go into the Count. There's so much to explore there, but definitely Lost Children arc's one of the best arcs of Berserk, in my opinion. You know, it feels like kind of a standalone arc as well, but somehow really tied to the story and his interaction and the way his relationships grow with Jill as well. Like, there are so many beautiful scenes in that arc, you know. So who knows? Maybe I will do it, or at least scene of it. Maybe a short animation, maybe like a couple of minutes.
That's interesting that you said it's one of your favorite, because it's also one question we had in mind, asking you, what is like in your opinion, the very best and your favorite arc in Berserk in general, like from all the arcs we've seen in the manga.
Oh, interesting question. Like, obviously they all got their own charm, you know. Story-wise, I would go with perhaps Golden Age, because there's so much happening there, like from Guts' youth as a child all the way up to, you know, trusting the wrong people. Like, there's so many life lessons in that story, you know. I remember even, I think there was this interaction with him and Gambino, where he says, like, you can't trust anyone on the battlefield, even if it's your own father. Take that from me, you know, something like that, along that line, you know. So it goes very deep. Art style wise, I would go with the Millennium Falcon. It's like peak Miura to me. Like, his art style is so detailed, and it was still like 2D, you know. It was like traditional. That's what I mean, traditional art. And it was I still like when I look at that art, the way the angles, the lens, the storyboarding, like even like Guts' design, because obviously when you look at Guts from the very beginning, Black Swordsman, all the way up to, for example, where we are now, the way Miura draws Guts, it constantly like changes. You know, in the beginning, he has more of a round face, then he gets more of a longer face, like because obviously Miura develops his skills along the line. And when I look at Guts in the Millennium Falcon arc, the art style is like amazing. You know, like I really like the look of Guts. He looks like a 80s action hero, like a combination between I don't know, Dolph Lundgren or whatever. Like it looks very heavily inspired, to be honest. You know, I like that art style.
Do you?
It's more of a realistic art style. It kind of like assembles Fist of the North Star as well during that time. I don't know. It looks very similar, to be honest.
He also, you know, he gets the Giga Chat face, so to say. He's like from in the Golden Age arc, as you said, where it's all a bit more round, and then he gets this insane jawline, and with all that muscular nuances in his face. that's really insane.
Jawline sharper than a Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, exactly. That's also. I definitely think there were also those 2 chapters in the Millennium Falcon arc at the end after how was he called? The King of the Kushins. Holy shit.
Ganishka.
Ganishka. After he was called, we got those 2 chapters where Miura has only drawn 2-sided panels, like big panels, over 2 pages, and there were like those 2 chapters of just those big panels and just insane art, how the world changes. And even those channels are just proof how insane the art in Berserk has gotten over the years. Like there's absolutely no comparison to any other manga, in my opinion.
I have to agree, yes. And I think one of the best panels in that arc was when Guts was riding Zod, you know, through the lightning.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That was insane, like really insane. The whole arc was, I also think chapter-wise, the biggest arc in the whole Berserk manga. There was just so much to cover. There was the war between the Kushins and Griffith, and all those intrigues, the apostles, and Guts' own journey from how was he called? Like the master or the mistress of Shirka and Kleepoth and all those aspects. Like it was so insanely huge, this arc, and as you said, there is like nothing to add story wise and especially art wise. There is no comparison to anything else.
I just wanted to add one thing because you mentioned Fist of the North Star. I'm pretty sure he even stated that Fist of the North Star was one of his biggest influences, actually. So maybe I
think if I read it correctly, I think he even worked for the director at the time as a student.
Bronson.
That's what I think. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you could see like it's very heavily inspired. Like honestly, if you look at Kenshiro and Guts, they're kind of similar. The way their hairstyle is, their body, their face. I think Guts is like the Midland version of Kenshiro, to be honest.
True. Also, how he's got this spiky hair above his forehead is what I wanted to say. Yeah, true. I'm just looking at it.
Like the bangs.
Yeah, the bangs. Yeah. That's funny. Didn't also Togashi work for Bronson? I think there was a time where they both were working there, which is also very interesting thing.
Togashi is just from Vagabond or?
Hunter x Hunter. I mean, I haven't read the manga, but there's also some fun fact flying through my head right now. Maybe I will just include it in the video if you are listening to it right now. I will just make a note if that's right, but I'm pretty sure it's right.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, one aspect I wanted to talk about is this switching to 3D art style, because this definitely opened up new windows for, or like new traps of perfectionism. I think somewhere I read, he was able to zoom in on every pixel and make it perfect, which took him even
Makes it worse.
longer. Yeah, makes it worse. Do you mind the change? Like, I know there are some people, or are you like in favor of it? Of course, like efficiency wise.
You mean when Mura first transitioned into digital art? You mean?
Yeah, or in general,
Or
maybe both.
in general? I'm kind of old school, when it comes to that. I prefer traditional art. I actually don't like art when it looks too clean. If it makes any sense. Then it kind of loses the human aspect to it. That's what I think. A little bit. Like when it's overly clean. Like, for example, if you compare the current animations, even though it's 2D, to, for example, 90s animation, early 2000s animation, you can see a big difference the way they draw it. For example, a recent anime movie compared to Akira, for example, or a Satoshi Kon movie. Like, for me, I prefer more traditional, but I understand that they have to be efficient. There's a lot of things that come into play, a lot of factors, like budget-wise, whatever, time. So I understand the practical aspect, the advantage, but me personally, I like more traditional.
I assume you're like drawing digitally. Are you also like on your personal life preferring drawing with pen and paper, or is it just like easier to get things out if you do it on like some drawing?
Like I prefer in my own life, I prefer traditional, but obviously, as I said, when it comes to deadlines, whatever, and digital is the way to go. Also when you make a mistake, it's more easier to correct whatnot. But if you have like the proper time, budget, whatever, then I would lean more into traditional.
Okay.
But I appreciate both. People make the most amazing, beautiful things with digital art. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on digital art. I'm doing obviously digital art myself. But I'm more talking about the style in specific, like the type of brushes they use. Like, I prefer more of a rough style, if it makes any sense. Like you can see the strokes aren't like too clean.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So yeah.
All right, maybe now that we talk about drawing and your works again, maybe I can get in one community question. Some guy who asked about your workflow. How long do you? Because that's also something that's very interesting to me. How long do you usually take? If you can say that, maybe we can use as an example the thumbnail of this video. I was wondering, how long does it take? It looks so layered, so detailed. I just wonder. How long?
And I have to say, and this isn't me like, I don't know, maybe like bragging or whatever. Like the thumbnail I made, that's like maybe
you can brag
20 to 30. It's like 20 to 30% of what I can do. But I'm really like, the thing is like, I'm like juggling between so many projects and things I work on. So whenever I had like spare time, I worked on the thumbnail. So that thumbnail in particular, for example, took me, I think, around 2 or 3 hours at most. 2 or 3 hours, and then spread across maybe a couple of days. So I wouldn't go at it like straight, but I would spread it. So 2 or 3 hours. Okay. So you can imagine like how much goes into like each frame of the whole animation. Thousands of frames. Like looking back at it, I'm like this. Sometimes I wonder if I'm human.
I wonder too. 3 hours. I really thought it would be like way longer. Crazy.
Yeah, I get it a lot, Crazy. Like when I put out something, for example, with clients or whatever, they're like, already done? I'm like, yeah. And then they tell me like, how come you're so fast? Years of experience, I've learned from mistakes. I know how to work more efficient, I know basically everything when it comes to drawing, so yeah. I go at it real quick.
I mean, I remember you asking me like, I thought about maybe Zod with a microphone and a tuxedo, and I was like, amazing idea, do that. And then like a few minutes later, they're all, already the line art finish, and I was like, what? Like, did you start before asking, or are you just this
I,
fast?
no, I never start
I mean,
before asking, because it can always be a no, you know. I don't want to waste any
yeah,
effort.
crazy how fast
Yeah.
you are. And also the like lighting and shading, is this done manually, like on the thumbnail, or is there like some effect you can put on? I mean, I have no idea about drawing, so that's why.
Everything is basically like I made some drawing videos on my Instagram to show people a glimpse of how I draw, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So basically it's layer upon layer upon layer until you have the final piece. That's it, you know. So it's not some type of effect or filter or whatever. It's like everything is drawn.
Awesome. Yeah, the benefit of drawing digitally. You have all
Yeah,
these
definitely.
layers. Ah, crazy.
Yeah.
That interesting. We always get to the topics before the actual question about it occurred, because I hope it was not really answered now, but there was this question about, can you walk us through your creative process from the idea conception to the final product? Maybe about not about the artwork you gave us for this video, but like maybe for an episode or for a sketch you put on Instagram.
Ooh.
Yeah, I could try to answer that. So yeah, when I get an idea, I try to think about it. Like, I look at it in a very, very different ways, you know. How quick can I make it? How good would it look? Many things, you know. Me personally, I would like to put in as much effort, but get the highest results out of it, just to be efficient, you know. So I would definitely not put in low effort and deliver low quality. That's definitely not something I would want to do. But I also need to look at how efficient I can be, you know. So when I get an idea, I think about it, maybe sleep one night, wake up again, think about it again. If it's like still something I'm excited about, you know, I don't want to be exciting about it in just a moment, you know. I have to keep on being excited about it. And when I really am convinced, okay, this idea is good, then I start sketching, rough sketches, very rough drafts on the storyboarding, the placement of the camera, how I want the character to move, the facial expressions, the small details on how the clothes will react to the movement, things like that, you know. And from there on out, from the rough sketch, you get like more of a cleaner sketch. From this cleaner sketch, you get like the proper actual line art. Then I start the coloring process, the shading, the lighting, and I usually do the background at the very end. So that's kind of how I make such process usually, you know. So each specific element gets its own each specific treatment, you know, and attention. If it makes any sense. If it doesn't make any sense, I would try to word it in another way.
I think it makes sense to me. I don't know about you, Corny. Maybe.
Definitely, but like it's not so far away from you know, writing something like I do. You know, you have the idea, then you write down or brainstorm some ideas, then you try to order it, and before you actually get into the real act of writing it, everything from A to Z, you try to structure it as good as possible, and in the end you go over it and try to maybe cancel out some mistakes. Yeah,
Exactly. And the thing also I've learned along this journey, you know, is making notes. Like I use a lot of notes so I don't forget things. So for example, if I have a rough sketch in mind, I start the sketch, but to remember the specific tiny details, for example, such as his right eyebrow should move up, his lower lip should be like this, then I make like small notes so I don't forget the specific tiny details, you know. So definitely there's also a lot of writing involved as well.
Maybe tying into that, I just saw a fan's question, which is, how does it feel to be so awesome?
Feels very good.
Okay.
I recommend everyone to feel awesome.
Okay, that's
It's a very good feeling. Yeah.
That's good. Let's hold on to that comment.
Yeah.
Okay, if you only if you want to. There's also what's 9 plus 10. Is it 21?
I think it's 21, right?
21. Okay, so we got that. Sorry.
Can you please let me in on that joke? I don't get it. I
21?
already told Lawrence why is this question even on the paper, but he
I think
but he
it's
did
like
not.
a meme from like 10 years ago or something.
It's like just like what's 9 plus 10? No. It started like you're stupid. No, I'm not. What's 9 plus 10? 21. You're stupid. Something like that.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to see the joke to appreciate it. I
Yeah.
don't think it's as funny as right now.
No, I would just cut it out. No, I would.
Okay, but still, thank you for trying to explain to me.
Thank you. And there was also what is love, but this is a very broad question, so I don't know if we have the time for that. Baby, don't hurt me is what they added.
Okay. But it's like the real question or the lyric?
No, it's like a question on your post on YouTube. So I thought we wanted to include every question.
What is love? So that's a very deep question. But if I would answer it quickly, I think
would be awesome.
It's the feeling of wanting to protect someone you can trust and has proven their trust to you. That's what I think is love.
Okay, that's a beautiful answer, actually.
Yeah.
And maybe we can also tie this into, the actual topic of this interview. There's the question that says, "Are you happy?" Maybe we can, refer this to your projects and what are you doing right now, and maybe also some future projects you're planning on doing.
Of course, definitely. I'm happy. I would say I'm happy because I'm a really grateful person, so I see things like I'm very simple as well, so I'm very grateful for a lot of small things, but I also appreciate the bigger things. For me, I talked about this actually with a friend of mine, I think yesterday or the day before, and we talked about like, first and foremost, if you got your health, then there shouldn't be any reason why not to be happy, That's the most important thing. And obviously when I look at my life as well, I started this YouTube channel with no clear intention in mind, and way took off. The community I've built, fans, the loving support since the very beginning up until now, various doors that have opened to me, connections I've made with fellow content creators, so definitely I'm very happy for that. So yeah, what was the other question?
Maybe also in regard to future projects, if you want to, but
yeah, future projects. I would definitely like to keep this Berserk thing alive, because it's one of the bigger reasons I've got to where I'm at right now, So I would definitely not abandon it. I am more critical on the way I would like to approach it. For example, I would definitely like to continue the funny shorter animations and Instagram, for example. I like doing those. I would love to continue the Black Swordsman arc, but with that one, I have to take it more like step at a time, So just focus on the re-release of the second episode, then I will see what's next. But besides Berserk, I would love to actually work on an original animation. So work on something totally like new, something I've come up with myself. And actually I've made various notes, concept work, whatever, and I would love to, when the time comes, to reveal it with the audience on what they would think about it. I think it will happen next year, maybe even like early next year, to reveal like at the very least like poster, character designs, and see how the people will like it. So something original is definitely something I would do along the way.
Awesome. I'm
So
really looking
now
forward to
we're
that.
set up. Now we're in a place where we have to wait about for this and can't actually wait for it.
One thing
All
is
right, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I was wondering, there's one personal question I thought of. Do you sometimes feel, because most of what you're at least uploading on Instagram or also on YouTube is Berserk related, do you see the possibility of maybe at some point in time or in life having, having had enough of Berserk and maybe saying, okay, this is it, I will go to other fandoms? Or do you feel like your head's full of ideas and there will always be more to do about Berserk? Do you feel like this pressure of, okay, I have to satisfy Berserk fans, or really like, I'm doing this because I like doing it right now, and as soon as I, want to do something else, I will do something else because I'm doing what I want?
I think that question in and of itself has some layers to it, because I actually enjoy very much what I'm doing right now.
Perfect.
But coming back to what we discussed earlier in this conversation, you can't please anyone,
No.
So if at some point I would decide to do something new, I would rather prefer to focus on something original rather than starting in a whole new existing franchise, to be honest. But if I would decide it, I'm also aware that maybe majority of the fans would be like, hey, where's the Berserk content? I'm used to the Berserk and I don't want anything new. So I'm kind of aware of that, but sometimes you gotta make new steps in life, new changes, take some risks. I'm not sure if I would do it on this exact same SWEETHEARTIST channel, maybe do a separate thing. But when the time comes, I wouldn't mind, trying something new as well. So I don't want to be forced onto something, just one thing, But at the moment, I really am enjoying it a lot.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's good to hear that you don't feel like caged by expectations. Really doing what you want.
Not at all.
Not at all.
The way I see it is, for me, it's like an art journal, and it's a public art journal. So I'm doing what I like, and I let others seeing it. That's what I see. So maybe in the next step or in next stage, I will try something else, and then we will see how many people remain, or maybe even new people joining in. So we will see.
Okay, that's a beautiful way to think about it. The art journal, I like that. Just putting it out, and whoever wants to see it can watch it.
Yeah, public one.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know about you guys, but do we kind of, because it feels like some conclusion, do we kind of want to wrap it up, or are there like burning questions we still want to talk about? If so, we can totally do that.
It depends on you guys. You have me here right now, so if you want to ask something, go ahead.
I do think we are generally through with what we wanted to ask you, and we are very grateful that you were so open to us.
Definitely. It also has been my pleasure. It was very, very nice talking to you guys, get to know you a bit better, because obviously we were following each other, but we haven't really interacted until this point. So it was very nice speaking to you guys. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's important that the Berserk community, gets together and tries to, make a maybe not being united. That sounds too harsh, but also, I do think there are also like people in the Berserk community that are, maybe not destroying it, but making it not the place it could be. So spreading and trying to support each other is always the better way to go.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the bigger reasons I wanted to join this interview, because I understood your vision. As you said yourself, preferably you would like to bring the community together, and I don't think there's a similar podcast space like this specifically aimed towards Berserk on the net right now. So I would like, you guys are one of the first, I believe, and I would love to be part of it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Also, of course, please don't forget to check out SWEETHEARTIST on your numerous socials. I think you got many of them, right? I will just include them in the description. You can go there and please, check out his content, support it. There's a lot to discover actually on your page. There's still some things I have to watch. I want to watch.
I'm not through.
Projects.
I'm not through. There is still stuff to look at. There is always content, and that's the great thing.
Yes, hope you guys will enjoy the rest of it.
Yes, surely. Then, okay. Thank you for coming on, and thank you guys for listening to this. And I will just say, see you in the next episode. Bye.
All right. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Don't forget to like
and subscribe.
Shut up, Griffith!